Welcome back, everybody. It's Mineski versus HappyFeet here for the MDL SEA qualifiers. I'm Baseskip. Great to be casting for you this evening on behalf of Beyond the Summit, and let's get straight into it. Let me get you some in-game audio first. There you go. I think there's probably some overlays I'm supposed to be using now, but they just posted them in the Skype group like 10 minutes ago, so maybe I'll sort it out in between game 1 and game 2. But thank you all for joining me. I'm a little bit less prepared for this matchup than I was for the previous one. I've only had a quick squiz at these two teams, Dota Buffs and Ghost Gamers pages, but a little bit less of a, well, maybe it could turn out to be a pretty high-octane match here, but, and still, I was about to say with smaller names, but, I mean, seriously, we got Ninja Boogie, we got Mushi, Raging Potato. Yeah, there are some all-star players on both of these two teams, at least as far as the SEA scene is concerned. I'm just a little bit less prepared for the draft. I'm making excuses. Let's get into it. We've got an Earth Spirit banned out. Interesting after the Kiev Major, where Earth Spirit not prioritized that highly to come back into SEA and to a certain extent China, and see that this Earth Spirit is getting really, really heavily banned out. I think it made a lot of sense against Fnatic because they just had an insane win record with that hero, so definitely made sense for Clutch Gamers to do their homework and just ban that out, but interesting to see it getting banned out here as well. We got the Nyx Assassin being banned. I've seen this quite a bit across China and Southeast Asia. The big discrepancy that I've seen between, well, at least from the games I've seen so far, is that there hasn't been very much Troll Warlord in SEA, and that seems to be a really rising pick, at least as far as the Epicenter China qualifier is concerned. I haven't been watching as much Dota as I would maybe like. But speaking of Epicenter, we've got Sand King along with the Warlock. Great team fight combination there. Sand King, a little bit of a mix-up in terms of, is he going to be offlane? Is he going to be the position 4? Well, Mineski probably haven't even necessarily decided that just yet, as HappyFeet will grab themselves a Legion Commander and a Crystal Maiden. So we get the bane of the safe lane, the Legion Commander. Not going to be backed up by a Warlock or any heals just yet, but could come out a little bit later on into the draft. I mean, she's already being helped by from the other side of the map with the Crystal Maiden Arcane Aura, so if you're a carry this game, you're buying your double tango, you're buying your flask, you're hunkering down to get overwhelming odds in the face a bunch of times. But all right. What else is going on here? We're into the second round, Mineski. So what if they put the Sand King as their position 4, then I feel like they have decent zoning potential against the Legion Commander. With the right safe laner, with the right carry, they could potentially pick up a First Blood there as well. HappyFeet, of course, are still going to be looking for a pause 4. I think a scouting position 4 hero could be really nice for them. The Monkey King, interestingly, after being so highly prioritized by Clutch Gamers in the previous series, is nowhere to be seen so far here. And there's still a Monkey King, a Tree, and a Ricky as good scouting / teamfight position 4 heroes right now. So HappyFeet actually have a lot of options, though the Slardar has been removed. Maybe that Slardar ban gives us a little bit of a hint as to what Mineski are looking to run for their mid or for their safe lane, but I guess only time will tell. Meanwhile, Ursa gonna get banned out. Certainly a hero that works reasonably well against the Legion Commander. You know, you get Blink Dueled, you don't have any stacks up, so you don't kill yourself that fast, unless you've happened to have popped the Overpower because you were pre-casting it before a fight or something like that. But definitely good at zoning the Legion Commander out of the lane, and I think with the Warlock and the Sand King, they would definitely have kill potential there. So sensible ban. We've also got a Lina being banned out, so maybe we can read into this a little bit and think about what Mineski are wanting to pick for their mid lane. Maybe they're trying to angle towards the Ember Spirit. Certainly very good with the Warlock. The Fatal Bonds and all of Ember's AoE magical damage is certainly very strong, so maybe that's something that we could see from Mineski. Meanwhile, for HappyFeet, I mean, they're probably just gonna pick their position 4 with this next pickup. I guess Mineski are gonna have to give us some more information. Is it Sand King 4? Is it Sand King 3? Well, it looks like Omni Knight 3 to me, and Omni Knight Sand King is actually a disgusting dual offlane. Like you talk about Legion Commander, and she's definitely extremely annoying, but Omni-Knight Sand King has... They've got tons of nuke. They've got 2 different slows.
Remaining.
If you're Crystal Maiden and you're caught out of position by a Burrow Strike, you're just dead.
5 seconds
So I think that's part of what Mineski are looking to do here. Of course, that does mean taking a little bit of
Reserve time.
pressure away from their safe lane, which means the Legion gets a little bit more. But at the same time, they're going to be keeping the HappyFeet supports at the safe lane, unless they like swap and put the Legion Commander there or something like that. But all right, like I said, HappyFeet had tons of choices as to what their what that position 4 hero is going to be, and they do decide to go for the Train Protector, which I think is pretty solid. It's important that they have some kind of vision, be that from a scouting position 4 or from a Spectre ultimate or something like that. It just makes Legion Commander's life so much, it makes her game so much easier to play. I guess another option other than the 3 that I mentioned, the Train Protector, the Ricky, and the
Reserve time.
what was the other one there? Train Protector, Ricky, and Monkey King. That was the guy that I was thinking of. But I guess the other option other than those could have been something like a Night Stalker, but not really prioritized that much. And as much as the silence is useful this game, Sand King can buy Yules, Omni-Knight can buy a Guardian Greaves. It's not unbeatable by any means. As Mineski, all right, they're going to show us
10 seconds
the Vengeful
remaining.
Spirit, so they're probably looking at something like a TA
5
or a Shadow
seconds
Fiend for
remaining.
their mid. I would be very surprised if HappyFeet didn't ban Templar Assassin, or if they
Reserve
didn't just
time.
pick it right now, because I think otherwise they're maybe shooting themselves in the foot a little bit. They don't really have very good ways to deal with the refraction. That hero was popular at Kiev for a reason, and yeah, I don't think they're very well set up right now. So unless they want to bait the pick and then have some counter pick up their sleeve. It's not an awful Venomancer game at all. Gives them more vision for the Legion, decent in lane against the TA, gives them some more stuff to spam down to defend their towers against this presumably pretty 5-man oriented Mineski line. When you pick Vengeful Spirit safe lane, I feel like in a lot of ways it's like picking Drow. It's a little bit less all in, and I think Venge is probably just a better hero in a lot of ways
10 seconds
than Drow
remaining.
is right now, but same kind of idea. If you're not pushing buildings, if you're not
5 seconds
kind of
remaining.
5-manning and controlling the tempo of the game, then you've probably got the wrong safe lane hero, or you're probably losing.
Reserve
So
time.
HappyFeet just going to go for a Weaver. The lockdown from Mineski is not amazing. They got a Sand King Burrow Strike and a Magic Missile, but that's about it. Weaver can just buy Lincoln Sphere and he's happy as a clam. So I think it's a good pick here. Helps to avoid some of the Sand King Omni-Knight pressure a little bit. He's not gonna easily die if they leave him alone there, which is nice. It'll give the Crystal Maiden a little bit more space to be able to go and do her jungle stuff. But all right, Mineski gonna get rid of a Tinker. They don't have a vision hero really right now, so it would be very difficult for them to deal with a Tinker, even though the hero is maybe a bit weird in the
10
HappyFeet lineup.
seconds
Then the
remaining.
Legion Commander is the one frontlining for them, and that
5
could get
seconds
a bit
remaining.
strange. But yeah, I think Mineski are very, very much keen on just going for this
Reserve
kind of 5-man lineup, similar to what we saw Clutch Gamers do in Game 2 against Fnatic, where they picked the Vengeful Spirit Dragon Knight, but then they bought 3 Midases. So you never know. You never know. Maybe this Vengeful Spirit lineup is planning to try and go a little bit later, but I think this is looking like a good Weaver game. I can kind of see him getting the Lincolns, he gets a Diffusal, he runs into the back lines with a Dust maybe, just in case Warlock has a Glimmer Cape or Sand King has a Sandstorm, and then he just latches onto one of those 2 heroes and tears them in half. They banned the OD instead of the TA or the Shadow Fiend, which I think are kind of the traditional heroes to go along with this Vengeful Spirit strat, and they pick the Ember. Alright, so I think they had they're just setting up for their Ember Spirit pick. They do at
10
least manage to
seconds
get
remaining.
something that's going to deal with the refraction reasonably well in the
5
Ember, so
seconds remaining.
not a completely awful laning matchup. And even if the Ember gets some pressure put on him, which I
Reserve
don't think he will, because I think Mineski are going to have their hands full dealing with the Legion Commander in the off lane and trying to pressure the safe lane with the Sand King and the Omni Knight, so I don't think Ember should get too many rotations in his face. Alright, what's the plan, Mineski? How do you solve these problems? I don't think you can pick Puck, because then you only have a repelled Vengeful Spirit, and then what's the point of Vengeance Aura and Wave of Terror. I guess, you know, Venge uses the Wave of Terror herself, but if you're going to pick this hero as a position 1, you got to have somebody else who's going to right-click people. Otherwise... Alright, yeah, there you go. Traditional combo. Vengeful Spirit plus Shadow Fiend. Their only real catch is going to be if they get a bunch of tier 1 towers early and the Sand King gets his Blink Dagger at a decent clip. Other than that, they're just kind of... They are the form of initiation where you repel your Shadow Fiend and he hits buildings and spams taunt, I guess, if he has it. But we're going to have a Mushi Shadow Fiend. Going to see everybody else's heroes picked up right now as I'm going to quickly open up Liquipedia to make sure I don't mess up anybody's names. And HappyFeet... Alright, let's do it. They're in their strategy time. Is there any potential for an aggro tri-lane or anything here?
5 seconds
I don't think so. Maybe they could. Maybe they could. If they put the Legion Commander, the CM, and the Terrain Protector in the off lane to begin with, they could actually get the Sand King to ditch bottom. And if the Weaver is just sitting down there. So that's one option. The other option is just to put the Crystal Maiden and the Terrain Protector in the safe lane to begin with, and then just fight off the Sand King and the Omni Knight. It really depends on their read on whether or not they think they can fight him. If they don't think they can fight him, then they can pressure the opposite side of the map, and they'll naturally get drawn over there. If they think they can fight him, which I think they probably can. They've got Terrain Protector, they've got the Frostbite. Weaver's not awful at level 1 or level 2, so there is definitely some kill potential there. So maybe the idea is just start in your safe lane. And if you start in your safe lane, then you're at least closer by to get the immediate D-ward on the big camp, which Crystal Maiden kind of needs. But anyway, let's get ourselves into this game. We've got some early TPs out. There's always shenanigans happening with the shrines and the smokes and the cheap TPs. It's an exciting time to be a Dota player. But we've got some pauses, so I will be able to get through some quick introductions. We have... okay, we gotta figure some of this stuff out. So this is... What? Is this Jules? God. I think this is... Yeah, this is Jules, right? And then this would be Ben-Hur. So we've got Yaj on the Legion. A little bit of all chat going on. I'm not sure which one is Jesse Vash and which one is RR. I'm guessing that random is RR, so that would make Crystal Maiden Jesse Vash. And then meanwhile, over on the other side... Wait, am I messing up the teams entirely? No, I'm not. That would have been embarrassing. What's happening over here? Why is there a blue dot? Alright, it's just Terrain Protector. He's just doing Terrain Protector things. It's fine. Okay. So we have Bimbo probably playing the... Yeah, so Bimbo's on the Vengeful Spirit. Bimbo or Jay or Raging Potato. He's gone by a million different names, but everybody knows him. We got Mushi on the Shadow Fiend. KYXY is going to be on the Omni Knight. And then, which one is Ninja Boogie? I think I have it. Yeah, that's Ninja Boogie for sure. The only one tagged up in the whole game. He's going to be on Warlock. And then finally we have AU on the Sand King. Alright. Well, will I remember all of that? I don't know, but we'll find out. Nope. Terrain Protector going for the... Well, going for the Bouncer Rune Snipe, but maybe actually just going for this kill on the Vengeful Spirit. They did not have anyone else coming over to help, but it looks like it is going to be a triple Bounty Rune secured for HappyFeet. Nice little start to the game. Vengeful Spirit does have her 8 tangos, it looks like, so she's going to be okay. The pull camp, well, at least the small camp, has been blocked out. And the Legion Commander, with the overwhelming odds, should be able to keep the lane pushed up far enough to the point where they can't actually access this side pull. So I don't think they need to block the big camp, really. You could even shove the lane and then you can pull it yourself. So... no real point there. We got the Warlock manning up on mid lane right now. Shadow Word is actually enough to get through the very pitiful 50 health Flame Guard at level 1. So that's been dealt with, and they're just going to give Mushi his initial souls here, if he can actually last it. 2 of the creeps are already dead, but that's the first CS. Can he get the range creep? Mushi, nope, doesn't get the range creep either. 1-1 so far. Normally this support zoning is so you can get your Shadow Fiend as early couple of CS, but Ember Spirit's just been messing with the aggro and doing all kinds of nonsense.
Radiant's middle tower
Ninja Boogie this
is
time
under
around going to
attack.
come back in with the heal. Ember does have a salve, so that's going to be forced out in just a second. And they do have the... So they kind of struck the middle ground here. They put the Treant Protector in the off lane, but not the Crystal Maiden. Omni Knight's got himself a poor man's shield, lane equilibrium. In a pretty decent spot. Actually going to push back in the Radiant direction right now. As it continues to be 2-2, 2-1, some weird-ass lane configurations going on. Ember is getting absolutely nothing, so... And Mushi starting to build up that damage. There is a dire sentry ward planted down here right among the trees. Tree has a sentry of his own, but looks like he hasn't quite realized that they're onto him. Sand King going for Caustic Finale level 1, interestingly enough. Sentry ward gets popped down. Do they have any tangos to eat it? He just gets out of range of the dire sentry. Should be able to come back in now, kind of realizing where it was, but yeah, his sentry ward's dead. And Vengeful Spirit gonna get the nice double tango. Ninja Boogie gonna come in here, knowing that they've both been pressuring the lane this whole time. Sneaky little Invis Rune into the bounty steal, but unfortunately for him, the Treant Protector's already gone over and taken the other bounty. Crystal Maiden, doing a bit of jungling. Actually, oh, Omni Knight getting away with a little cheeky side pull here. Let's see which direction the wave ends up going in. Weaver so far... I talked about him getting a Lincoln Sphere, but he's got the Crystal Maiden on his team, so I will reiterate the point about does he actually need to get Lincolns to sustain his mana. Looks like we got a Shrine coming up for top, so nothing really going to be happening there for the next little bit. Quite a bit of farm across the board, but not for the poor old Ember Spirit. Fortunately, he is a hero that can catch up. But it looks like he's got QO's luck, and unfortunately finds some Hellbear Smashers to start. But he'll eventually be able to go back and clear out that stack. Weaver being pretty diligent on the denies, just trying to cut this Omni Knight experience down as much as he can. No points in the swarm just yet, interestingly. But I guess he's got the CM aura, so he can actually do a lot of Shikuchi harassment. Omni Knight's also going to be forced over to his shrine before too long. Treant Protector still only level 1. They've actually managed to somehow dodge experience on the tree to give the extra levels to the Legion, who really needs to cast an overwhelming odds to... Come on, just put a little dent in that mana pool. Let the Crystal Maiden do her job. There you go. Anyway, how's Ember doing now? Mushi is 20 and 11 on mid. Ember Spirit still on Struggle Street. He's already used his Shrine. Mushi's just manning up. He's got boots. Almost finishes him off. Fairy Fire helps save him along with a Fairied Salve, but he's not looking good. I really like the way that Mushi's playing this. I've actually seen this a decent amount recently from Shadow Fiends, just not going for bottle. And instead picking up some early stat items and just giving themselves a little bit more pressure in the lane. Alright, they're going to try and slow him down here. They got a two-man gank. They didn't get the bash, but looks like they should still get this kill, and it's a first blood. Unfortunately for the Crystal Maiden. Could have maybe left it for the Ember Spirit. I think he even leveled up the Sleight of Fist just to try and grab it. Doesn't get it in the end. Alright, but they knock some souls off of the Shadow Fiend, knock him down a peg, and that's going to give the Ember a little bit more breathing room here on the mid lane. Looks like another stack on this big camp coming up. Crystal Maiden maybe going to take her tax off the top. Little skim. No, she's a disciplined support. I guess she's going to take the Centaur instead, maybe. If I was the Ember, I would ask her to frostbite the stupid coursers or the potato to reduce the magic resist, but
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
instead just gonna come and soak up the mid lane for the time being. Ember backing himself up, going for an Iron Talon. This is full recovery mode. I'm done with this lane. Ember Spirit. So it looks like Mushi gonna have a fantastic time. He could probably even head into the jungle soon and give the lane over to the Sand King or the Warlock or something like that. I don't know if they've stacked anything for him. Maybe they have. Yeah, big camp stack. Nothing else. Treant Protector just waiting for that rune. And Legion Commander, well, last time we checked, she was level 3. She's still level 3, but just about to hit 4. Hasn't really been as much of a scourge in this offlane as you might think. He got decent CS, but I mean the Vengeful Spirit is still up there, and this is a Weaver who is just against the Omni Knight, so I feel like this has actually worked out pretty nicely for the Vengeful Spirit. Has her phase boots up, Treant Protector trying to do a bit of jungling at the moment, it looks like, and Ninja Boogie playing a pretty hard support this game. Only level 2 right now. Does steal a little bit of this experience as he wanders past. And Sand King in a pretty aggressive position. Can't cast the Burrow Strike just yet. Doesn't want to commit too heavily. Does see the Ember Spirit into the tower now, and Radiant scanning just to make sure he's backing off. I guess, yeah. Scan to make sure he was backing off so that the Crystal Maiden could come over the hill and come do some jungling. Is she going to stack this? Come on, CM. Oh no, you're going to miss the opportunity. Sad story. Meanwhile, Weaver looks like he is still going to be going for the Lincoln Sphere, but stopping off at a Dragon Lance first. I don't know how I feel about the Dragon Lance necessarily. I think there's better damage items that he could get. If he wants the survivability, he could just get some treads. Which I think, I don't know. A lot of people like the No Boots Weaver. I'm personally not a huge fan, though I'm sure if you go on my Dota buff, there's some No Boots Weaver games in there, but ignoring that, we've got a little Searing Chains and then a very nice sidestep from the Ember Spirit. We've also got the Treant Protector rotating around, and Mushi just in way too deep. There's the triple Remnant, finishes him off. Can they finish the Sand King? Looks like he should be able to Burrow Strike down onto the low ground. Actually, can't even figure out how to cast it. Just gonna TP away in the fog here. But yeah, I don't know. I think this Dragon Lance is a bit weird. Because I think the Diffusal Blade is very, very good this game. But we'll see. Could change his mind again. Still has plenty of time before he's really committed to anything. Vengeful Spirit has the Bassi up, leaving it turned on to try and get some push out of this siege creep, but unfortunately the Legion Commander is sitting here waiting, and as soon as the Legion turns up, Ven just immediately denies it, knows that he's not really going to get any value out of it. Ember now has an Arcane Rune, despite a pretty disastrous start. I would think that he's actually doing decently on net worth. Yep, only 100 behind the Mushi Shadow Fiend, who looked like he had the world at his feet to begin with. In trouble for the Omni Knight. This Repel's about to wear out. They're still chasing. They have already used the Leech Seed. Looks like Weaver just going to force him all the way back out of the lane.
Is under attack.
He's actually got creeps waiting for him back at his tier 1. That was some really nice Shikuchi usage. I'm really bad at doing that. It's like, oh, ran into the creep too early. Alright, what do we got? Smoke. 2 remnants. 3rd remnant coming up soon. There's actually a smoke from the Shadow Fiend as well. All the mid laners are smoking, but why is it the Shadow Fiend? At least he gets that kill, fills up his souls, but the Legion Commander wants him dead, though there are 4 Mineski heroes here. They get the stun out. He does have some wand charges and the raindrop helping to keep him alive, but Mushi, I guess he's answering my question. This is why he came in, but the triple remnant does huge damage. The Weaver's now here as well for the cleanup. Vengeful Spirit doesn't look like she's going to get out of this. Gets slowed down by the Leech Seed, but Weaver knows that that kill is already secured by his team. Just going to run down the Shadow Fiend, and that will be a double kill picked up by the Ember after all is said and done. This guy had a disastrous start, and now he's more farmed than the SF. I don't know. I guess Mineski wanted to rotate, and then they wanted to like pick off the Legion and run through and take the tower, but I don't know, they ran into the Crystal Maiden and the Ember Spirit at a really unfortunate time. The shrine was down, so it wasn't, you know, it wasn't ridiculously dangerous because of that. It just an unexpected move that really backfired. You know, there's no way that, I don't think there's any way that HappyFeet are thinking like, oh yeah, they're gonna smoke their Shadow Fiend to our off lane right now. Maybe it got scouted by one of these wards. I didn't see, but you know, I think the expected play there for the Shadow Fiend is just to go and jungle for a bit, but instead tries to not mind game them, but you know, make the unexpected play, high risk, high reward, and does not work out. All right, at least he'll be able to reassemble his souls pretty quickly with these stacks. Ember just going to be going for the Veil this game. He has plenty of people on his team to benefit from the spell amp between the overwhelming odds. I mean, Weaver, maybe he'll go for the Shikuchi damage. I don't know if that's if that's the play. But after that fight, he does have his Dragon Lance up now, also picking up a Blightstone to go along with it. And looks like he's going to be playing no boots for a while here. Avenge. Putting on some pressure, is going to be going for a hood. Certainly helpful against the Ember Spam, and actually hitting the Legion Commander really hard. He'll be able to phase boot through the trees, but there's a swap and a stun. I don't think the Legion Commander's going to make it out of this one. Goes back into the trees. Might be able to juke and go for a TP now, but he's extremely low, though he is fast. Maybe a little juke into the corner. Nope, gets scouted out by the Wave of Terror, and one last auto attack's going to do it. Fantastically played by the Venge, but can he get out of this? There's the Frostbite, they wasted their disables, and he's going to take it. Tough, but if they'd waited much longer, the Sand King and the Shadow Fiend would have been on the scene, so I guess they just had to try for it. Try and burst him. Double damage Ember. Did not remember to put his bottle back in his inventory, so not going to get any bottle sips for that one. Maybe he can use it immediately. It is being scouted out by this, well, not very long for life Dire Observer Ward. Crystal Maiden finally manages to plink that one down. Meanwhile, bottom still pretty healthy. The Weaver hasn't been able to put too much pressure onto that tower just yet, it looks like. Warlock going to be handed the mid lane. That's his inheritance. He's going to pick up his level 6 there. What else? Where's the Shadow Fiend going? Just picking up his Dragon Lance, it looks like. Definitely needs to tank up as best he can so that he doesn't just get popped by Ember Spirit and Legion Commander running at him. In terms of an overall lead, we have a slight lead in HappyFeet's favor right now, about 1k net worth, about 500 experience as well. And well, Sand King, I said that he was the primary initiation if he could get himself a Blink Dagger, but these tier 1 towers haven't fallen just yet, so there isn't really a whole lot of income flowing in for him. Is this another Shadow Fiend smoke? No, this is just a... This is a Swagger Fiend, swag my way down to bottom lane and hit this tower. But if they don't get it, the living armor is going to be a problem. They do big damage to Weaver. Doesn't choose to time-lapse, just going to back up. Some nice raises from Mushi do drive him back. Seeing multiple heroes at bottom, they are going to make an attempt on the Ember Spirit's life up top. They've got great chain stun, but he managed to get out before the Chaotic Offering. And he lives. Oh no, Ninja Boogie's gonna be kicking himself. Tried to be too cute with the stun bar, but then not thinking about his cast point versus the Ember's cast point. And he lives. And now Chaotic Offering is on cooldown for a while. I guess they're gonna try and push this tier 1 tower anyway. But again, if you don't get it, Tree's there with the living armor. This is why this hero is such a pain. Because he just makes the game longer, almost no matter what. I feel like the interesting thing about this Mineski lineup is they are very much, you know, a 5-man kind of all-in-y lineup. And that's fine if they actually manage to take the towers, but if they don't, this thing's going to get stalled out forever. And I think HappyFeet just win by default. Ember taking damage, but again, lockdown really is the weakness of this Mineski lineup. Lif's going to get popped, and HappyFeet not really in position threatening any buildings right now. Weaver's going to do his best to get some chip damage out of this tier 1, but they do end up giving this, this tier 1 tower away up top for free. Tree, meanwhile, just farming bot. Looks like the first signs of a Midas in his inventory. We got the Dragon Lance up on the Shadow Fiend. The Weaver is very farmed. 600 gold towards his ultimate orb right now. And Crystal Maiden actually able to make a very deep run in here to put down some Observer Wards. Has she been scouted at all? No, not really. Alright, this is some amazing vision for them to work with. And this vision is great because they've already lost their tier 1 top, so it's very unlikely that Mineski are going to be making any plays over them. Like, why would they bother? Well, I say that, but they are actually 2-core ganking the Legion Commander right now. But yeah, there's not very much point for Mineski to go and make plays over here since the tower's already dead. So this vision covers the mid tower and the bottom lane very, very nicely. Spots, you know, some potential rotations onto the Shrine, some TPs onto the tier 2. Sand King just gets bursted on mid.
Dire's structures are fortified.
Shadow Fiend TPing in. Alright.
Pop
Pop the glyph, but that means they're gonna sack their top tower instead. Maybe they can get this bottom tower. Legion's TPing now. Everybody is so stubborn about defending their towers this game. I think for HappyFeet, it makes sense because they have the Chain Protector. Swap is going to bring him back. He's got the living armor, trying to run back the opposite direction, but it's straight into the waiting arms of the Omni Knight, who, with one last swing of the club, finishes him off. Omni does appear like he's just going for a mech right now.
Radiant's bottom tower
And in fact, he does have it completed. They've also got the medallion, which is being purchased up by the Venge. That's going to give them some more much-needed Roshan potential. They could even maybe use the next Chaotic Offering to force a fight and then take a Rosh, or just go force the Rosh and take the ensuing fight if it happens. Ember going to be going for some more split push with the Boots Travel, so he and Weaver are going to be exploiting the fact that this team has... They're light on lockdown. I mean, they don't have none. They've got Burrow Strike, they got Magic Missile, but... a couple of Lincoln Spheres and that problem's going to go away. Vengeful Spirit. Gonna get hit by the chains. There is a TP coming in from the Sand King. I don't know if they see this just yet, and this could be a huge Burrow Strike if it wasn't such a long TP. Nice swap in. Now the two-man Burrow goes through, but looks like they will still be able to chase this kill down. Nice Remnant placement. Man, that TP was long. And Vengeful Spirit bites the dust. Shadow Fiend is going to go for a Shadow Blade here. Mid-tier 1 getting healed up. They did lose the tier 1 down bot, but I mean, they still have a tier 1 tower intact almost 20 minutes into the game, so I think the pacing here is working just fine for HappyFeet. Train has his Midas up now, so his Ags or his Blink, or... do they have a Solar Crest right now? I think he should buy Solar Crest. I think everyone should buy Solar Crest, but I really think that this Train should buy Solar Crest. And then you go back for whatever item you want. Blink for more Blink bashes. He is going for the living armor build right now, so maybe he sits back a bit more. You know, he didn't buy any Tranquil boots. He didn't buy any Phase boots. He's mostly playing for the living armor more than he's playing for the Nature's guys. And I think part of that is because his split pushers are somewhat safe. He doesn't really need to be scouting for kills. His team, I think, is just going to be content to push at top all the way, push at bottom all the way. It would be very helpful to take this tier 1 tower already. Weaver holding off the mid push. Well, Legion Commander, what's she got? Actually, Legion's not that rich, huh? She's been on Struggle Street a little bit, but still working on the Blink. Maybe you go back for a Midas after the Blink. It depends on how the game is going. A Mineski Aegis could blow this game wide open very quickly. They go for Roche, they get the Aegis. The Aegis could potentially be 2 towers. That's a lot of map control. All of a sudden, maybe your split push isn't working the way that it was, you know, 10 minutes ago. So HappyFeet's still gonna have to be careful about their positioning and their items, but this triple line of wards that they have across the map is super crushing right now. It's letting them fend off any attempt at their jungle and at their mid lane very easily. Warlock fans and Invis Rune. Alright, that could be maybe the wild card that they need. Looks like there's some kind of attempt happening on the Sand King up top as well, but Swarm's not going to connect. They get the first stun on the Legion. She's fast, but Going Die might be in trouble. Are they willing to use the Chaotic Offering just for this kill? Looks like they aren't, but jump in now with the duel and the Ember Spirit arriving on the scene. They will drop the Chaotic Offering now. Crystal Maiden also not too far away. Vengeful Spirit, can she finish either of these 2 kills? Won't be able to, and the Remnants just slay. Ember Spirit now running over into the tree line. He did Boots of Travel in, so no BOT to get out, but Mushi's actually the one in a compromising position. No, not enough mana or the cooldown on the Sleight of Fist for the Chains combo. And Mushi wants this kill, needs to be careful of the living armor. But looks like he values his life a little bit more, and will just use the Shadow Blade instead to make his escape. That's rough. They used the Chaotic Offering, got 0 kills. The Ember Spirit getting even bigger, despite getting demolished in the early game. What's Mushi gonna go for now? I guess maybe back into BKB. The Legion finally gets her Blink Dagger. 19 minutes in. And at the same time, oh my god, Weaver is huge. Alright, he's got his Lincolns now. And now that the Lincolns is out of the way, it's time to build damage. That's the sweet thing about Weaver, is kind of once you get this Lincoln Sphere, it's like nothing but damage from here on out. I don't know if he's gonna go for the Desolator. I still maintain that I think the Diffusal is a very, very good choice, especially given that they have this Omni Knight. Not for the repel, of course. Cannot be dispelled, but still pretty annoying for him. Is there anything else that's worth dispelling this game? I mean, Ghost Scepters, obviously, but that's not going to happen for a little bit. Do they need the extra catch? It might be helpful. Yeah, he's just going to go for the defusal. It's so much damage as well. That's the other thing. Alright, Ember's going to go for a Maelstrom. Omni does have some Greaves up now. Not as afraid of the Ember as the Ember might like him to be, but I mean, Ember knows that he's got a Remnant to jump back to, so just playing things to the absolute limit. Do have a Solar Crest picked up for the Venge, so that plays into that, you know, that Roshan sequence that I was talking about earlier, but with no Chaotic Offering, there's not too many opportunities to make that happen. Shadow Fiend scooting by a Sentry Ward here, but looks like they didn't have an Observer layered on top, so he's not going to be found out, but the Weaver Split Push continues to just get tower after tower after tower with no response whatsoever from Mineski. They're just getting split pushed to pieces. Shadow Fiend's hunting for ganks with his Shadow Blade, but you know, every missed gank costs him a little bit of farm. And the Radiant Vision continues to be great. Also, the split pushing kind of tells you where the enemy team is. They're going to jump in duel onto the Sand King. Good burst damage, but there is an Omni Knight here with plenty of heals to keep him alive. There's the Guardian Greaves as well, and the ultimate. Weaver just going to have to leave the Legion Commander behind. No duel victory for the Sand King. And Ember now coming in. They know that all of Omni's stuff is on cooldown, at least for a little bit. So maybe this is an opportunity that they could take, but they're exposing themselves really hard if they take this fight. Because then they could lose it, and then they could lose Roche, because there's this mysterious double damage rune waiting over here, but instead they're going to be the ones who grab the GG, and maybe they're the ones who can grab the Roche. If they can steal this from Mineski, they've just secured the next 5 minutes of the game. The tier 1 is still up mid. Treant Protector's just farming this whole time. He's got 2.6k. He's not very far away from his Ags or whatever item he's going to buy. They come in here. They did manage to get the... No, they didn't get the dust on the tree. He broke the smoke and he didn't even get dusted. What a god. But, alright. Roshan was not fast enough. They're just going to take the fight outside of the pit. Vengeful Spirit getting bursted. The Chaotic Offering counter initiates nicely, but it doesn't actually find any kills. And now the Ember Spirit is running forward. They get the duel onto somebody. It is the Omni Knight, preventing him from casting any further spells, but this is actually going pear-shaped. The auto attacks from Mushi, along with the ultimate, they get the damage reduction, and that keeps everybody alive. Oh my god. They all dropped so low, but the Guardian Greaves... I kind of wish we had healing on this as well as damage, but yeah, Ember did a ton of damage. Everybody else just kind of crumpled. The Shadow Fiend went cray. All right, well, game plan's back on for Mineski. They got the Aegis, gonna get this tier 1, maybe even get the tier 2. Mushi's grabbed himself a Yasha. All right, just I guess delaying on the BKB as long as possible. Wants to have that long duration BKB for when he really needs it, and while he has the Aegis, he can kind of continue buying non-BKB items for a little while. Up to 12.3k net worth after that fight, and Dire gonna do a little sweep of the Radiant Jungle, claim some spoils in here as well. Shadow Fiend kind of out in no man's land, but knows that his team isn't too far away. And Sand King just around the corner. Does have his blink now, so those towers finally paying off and getting that little bit of extra initiation for Sand King. And this is where things get more difficult for HappyFeet. If they'd got that Roshan, I think they would be in an amazing spot, and they'd probably be up here in terms of the net worth. But now it's back on the Mineski side, and the 5-man train is rolling. Treant Protector did just go for a blink. I like this decision. Gives them some more teamfight initiation, potentially. Though I think... This exemplifies how this Shadow Fiend Vengeful Spirit lineup works. It's not because the Vengeful Spirit is an amazing right-clicker in her own right. It's because she stands behind the Shadow Fiend, and she can swap him, and she's buffing his damage, and you know, she's also buying items just to help keep him alive. It is this game is the Mushi show for Mineski, but I still think that HappyFeet have some plays to make here. They really need this Legion Commander to get something. I don't know what that something is, but it needs to be maybe more farmed than the Treant Protector. It's not necessarily her fault You know, it is a little bit difficult to find farm on the map, but she's also been kind of ganking non-stop with the blink. When I think chilling out and farming would not be an awful decision. You know, you could be threatening not for the kills on the heroes that Mineski have right near their base, but you could be threatening for the kills when Mineski are doing the same thing, when they're trying to push a lane out really far. So, you know, you could be farming around here and then jump in and maybe grab the Shadow Fiend on his way back, something like that. There was great vision from the Radiant earlier, but now there's great vision from the Dire. They were extreme opportunists with that that fight that they won. They got the Aegis, they got the tier 1, they came through the jungle, they got the wards, they got the tier 2. Enormous swing. You can see, even as now that everybody's back and alive on HappyFeet, they're actually gonna even out the net worth very, very quickly, but that swing was just backbreaking, and now the Shadow Fiend is starting to look very difficult to deal with. It's got a Manta style, so Overgrowth going to be a little bit less annoying for him. Also just tough for the Legion Commander. Mushi's sitting there hovering on his Manta style key. You jump in to try and duel him, all of a sudden he Mantas, and maybe you just get auto-attacked to death without even getting off the duel. So, alright, tier 2 dead. Weaver does have his Diffusal. Gonna push out top a little bit. Train Protector ready to blink in an Overgrowth at a moment's notice just to help him out. The Sand King is getting pressured by an Invis Ember. Ember needing to be careful, but he does have a Remnant up for at least another couple seconds. So ready to jump back here. He's okay. Ven's just going for a Hurricane Pike. Another item to either get the Shadow Fiend out or to get herself out after swapping the Shadow Fiend. Either way. Oh, they are going to look for her up here. The Warlock's not too far behind, and the Weaver's already shown his face, so no chance that the Vengeful Spirit keeps running forward after that. Looks like this Aegis might just end up being a farming Aegis with only another 40 seconds to go. SF picking up his extra damage per soul, has another 3.2k gold on top of everything that he's already grabbed. I wonder if he gets the BKB once he loses the Aegis, or if he just keeps buying... Oh, Butterfly, interesting. I feel... for some reason, I feel like I like the Scotty just a little bit more, but maybe you just go Butterfly and then go back to the BKB. Train Protector looks like they got some kind of counter initiation on him up here. They haven't even dropped the Chaotic Offering yet. Legion Commander going to be caught out a long way from home, and Shadow Fiend just going to lay waste to this fight. Tree did manage to blink into the trees, and blinks out a little bit further to dodge that Requiem, so Mushi will not pick up the bonus kill. And this is space for Sophie Turner to push mid. Aegis gets reclaimed, but tier 2 tower is still pretty healthy. How's this Ember Spirit's next power spike coming along? Alright, he's got the Mjolnir now. Still needs to get his remaining talents, and he probably gets the Shivas this game, right? Doesn't have a blink either just yet, interestingly enough, which I'm somewhat surprised at, but he's been playing around it pretty well. But yeah, Mushi just gonna go straight into the Butterfly, crushing damage. The Butterfly is a ridiculous amount of damage with the Vengeful Spirit aura as well. That's the other thing to factor in here. I don't know if anyone's gonna work towards a Vlad. They do have a gem on this Sand King. Weaver kind of running around in circles. They wait for the Lincoln's pop, and now they get the chain stun, and he's just dead. Too much running in circles. He let the Warlock get in range to... Wait, did he Shadow Word to pop that? No, the Fatal Bonds to pop it. Ooh. Alright, so smart. So pop the Lincolns, get the bar, get the kill. Ooh, how close was the tower to dying? I guess he was maybe thinking, oh, I'll just get the tower last hit, and then the True Sight will disappear, and I'll be fine. But then maybe he clicked on the Sand King, and he was like, ah, shit, the Sand King has a gem, so I can't just commit for the tower. And then he got his Lincoln Sphere pop, and he died. And now he's dead for 30 seconds, and the Shadow Fiend's going to come hit their high ground for a little bit. This is dangerous. They do have a glyph, so they're going to get him back without too many squabbles, but there's an Observer Wood scouting this out. Also, still no Chaotic Offering, so this is just Shadow Fiend siege mode. I don't think that they're really looking to commit for a full team fight, but if they could get this tier 3 tower for free, that would be amazing. And look at Mushi go. He gets chained, but doesn't care. The Living Armor also trying to hold it off. It's got... I thought it had backdoor protection for a second, but Never mind that. Repel the Shadow Fiend. Solar Crest the Shadow Fiend. Love your Shadow Fiend. And yeah. Nice, easy tier 3. Sets up for an easy shrine. And this game just... Man, this game got out of HappyFeet's hands really quickly. The rug just got pulled out from underneath them. I feel like this Legion Commander has still done very little this game. I think that's the big problem that they've been running into. Part of that is the Mineski lineup. You know, the Chaotic Offering counter initiates well against the Legion. The Omni Knight also kind of forms this support network where if you go on the Omni, then you get rocked. If you go on the Warlock, then he gets healed. If you go on anybody else, then you get rocked and that person gets healed. So it's certainly tough. Very aggressive move forward from the Terrain Protector, but it's straight into Gem Vision. Will he even get any spells off? Nice Dispel from the Legion Commander is actually going to get him out of there. Alright. I flamed him, so had to make a good play. Terrain Protector survives, but the Overgrowth is on cooldown for the time being. Crystal Maiden just going to Freezing Field a wave. Has picked up, I guess you could call it a counter gem. Try and remove all this vision that they know has to be here after this big long move from Mineski down the bottom lane. Alright, so the map's going to get very dark. Both teams are going to be somewhat inclined. Well, actually, HappyFeet are not going to be inclined to 5-man, but Mineski definitely are. I don't think they mind the map being dark so much since they're just going to play together. They do mind it being dark because they don't know which lane the split pushers are necessarily split pushing, but they've made a good decision here to push the lane that they've lost their tier 2 in already, so they get the most time to come and push it. Also, of course, they just want the last tier 2, but it gives the Ember and the Weaver the least room to work with. Weaver is just going for an MKB. I'm kind of surprised. I thought Weaver was going to be able to just kind of stand still and auto attack a bit more than he has this game, but hasn't worked out that way. Vengeful Spirit has a Shadow Blade, and you know she's got multiple single target spells. Could potentially get that initiating stun on the Weaver and kill him off. And it's gonna get even easier now that she's got the Hurricane Pike. Just Pike to pop straight into the Magic Missile. Weaver's bought up his Demon Edge. Looks like he does still have buyback, however. Legion just gonna go for an Armlet. Yeah, I guess they're not actually killing anybody in these fights, so maybe damage is... Ooh, speaking of damage. Was she waiting on the high ground with a double damage? Couldn't even pop the Blade Mail in time, and down he goes. Oh, and he's gonna saunter on into Roshan. It's already up. What do you know? They don't need the Solar Crest. They don't need the Wave of Terror. They've got the presence of the Dark Lord. Where's this? Actually, where's the Solar Crest on the Radiant team? Ah, Tree. So he got the blink. I didn't mind the blink. I really think he needed the Solar Crest, and he's now finally going to go and grab it, but I think it was a misplay not to buy this item earlier. You know, focus the dual target down a little bit faster. It's a huge damage boost for the Weaver. Give some people a survivability kick against this Shadow Fiend, who's the primary source of damage. And Shadow Fiend just gonna swagger his way down to bottom, deal with the swarm no problem, and just lay into the tower. Are they gonna repel him up? They get the swap in onto the Ember Spirit. Can they keep him alive? They blink in with the Overgrowth, and he has actually survived. Jumping out, got off a nice Sleight of Fist, buying him some extra time. Weaver popping the time lapse perhaps a little bit early, and that ultimate used just to disengage. The Shadow Fiend still has his Aegis. Just gonna take that last swipe on the melee barracks, and Legion Commander's way too afraid to jump in and do anything here. Instead, just gonna try and focus on keeping the Weaver alive, but he gets dropped anyway by the Magic Missile, and Shadow Fiend just gonna keep on pushing. I don't know if the OD ban made that much sense this game. I don't think Venge OD is a combo. Shadow Fiend Venge is definitely a combo. Look at this. He's a monster. He's solar crested, he's repelled, he's everything. Even the Vengeful Spirit is like, oh yeah, we're winning this game so hard, I don't even need to hang all the way back here. Maybe I can even go and hit the buildings myself. Ember, you did such a good job recovering your game here, but that Roshan decision turned out to be a pretty poor one. That DD baited them, actually. The fact that they had a DD for that, without the DD, there's no chance that they go for it. But Actually, maybe if they had the Solar Crest on the tree. But was tree dead? I don't remember. Was it Legion or tree that was dead? Maybe if they have a Solar Crest, maybe they get that. Maybe they get that Roche, and maybe the game looks a little bit different. But right now, I don't see them killing this guy. He's got a full AC, 26.1k net worth, with a 12.4k net worth advantage. And what can they do? There's just one lane of racks waiting. 2-2 tower's still alive at the very least. Tree should probably be topping that off with the living armor, but he's got bigger things on his mind right now. This is kind of a do or die fight. They do have a Ember Spirit buyback, which is pretty important. Could rejoin this fight if he happens to get bursted early on, but he's not even with his team just yet. They are going to come forward. They scout out the Venge, but they don't manage to get the Blink Duel. Warlock also going to hide himself. He's got... Oh, he doesn't have the Chaotic Offering, actually. Never mind that. They're going to jump in now with the Epicenter, however, and the auto attacks from the Shadow Fiend shred 2 heroes. Godlike streak, make it beyond godlike as he kills off the Crystal Maiden. The gem hits the deck. They do lose the Venge, but what can they do about the SF? Weaver just gets forced all the way back. Sand King going to look for the Bar Strike, and he does find it. Great play with the Yule Scepter to pop the Lincolns. Jiwon going to try and turn it around, but Omni Knight finally arriving on the scene. Keeps the Sand King alive. They only lose the Venge, and well, Siege King himself is going to keep on pushing. What do? They can't kill him. They can't kill him. They can't kill the Omni. They can't kill the Warlock. They did manage to kill the Venge.
Radiant's middle tower is
I mean,
under
mostly
attack.
just because the Warlock didn't have his ultimate, and what do you know? He's got it for this next push.
Radiant's top tower is under attack. Radiant's top tower has fallen.
Alright. One last crack at it, HappyFeet. One last attempt. The Ember does have a buyback ready to go. He probably has to go and use it right now, just to buy some space here. This Shadow Fiend Aegis is still up. It's going to be down in about a minute's time, but I don't think Mushi needs a minute. He just needs a couple of seconds. There is a glyph, now getting popped. Mushi just going to fade back for a second while they maybe wait for their Vengeful Spirit to get over here. Legion Commander